So this takes us to the Tromp Award, and I hand over to Rob Rietveld to say a few words and to hand over the award. You okay? Good.
Okay, Mr. President, members of the Council, and ladies and gentlemen, you see a very, very happy man here to be able to present for the first time in history the Tromp Award in the EMS. I have 3 slides, so don't worry. The first one is who was Tromp, second, why the award, and the third one, who is the winner. Silko Wallet Tromp is a peculiar name. It's a Frisian name from the northern part of Holland. He was a very special man. He was born in 1908 in Batavia. Batavia is probably only known to the Dutchmen here. It's now called Jakarta. It's on the island of Java. It used to be a formal Dutch colony. A lot of Dutch people were working at those times in Jakarta, in Batavia, and his father was working for an oil company called the BPM, Bataafse Petroleum Maatschappij Batavian Petrol Company, which later on fused with the English, this English branch of the Shell, and now it became the Royal Shell. So the family was a real oil family. Like it was used in these days, he was raised and had his high school in Batavia, and then went back to the Netherlands and started to study in Leiden. You see it here, geology and geographics. He was a very bright student. It went all very fast, and he achieved a PhD position, and then he had to leave the university. So he found a job and went to a couple of oil companies looking for oil, let's say, trying to find oil. Then became the World War II, and he was abroad, and in some way, he became involved in the Dutch section of MacArthur's headquarters. Quite a different job, because it has to do with intelligence. After the war was over, he had no job, so he started to study again. And now he took physiology and meteorology, and he became fascinated by the interaction of those disciplines. He finally got another job 3 years later. He became professor of geology, his original training at the King Saud University in Cairo. That was an appointment for 3 years, and then he had another job, amazing, 5 years as a consultant by the United Nations in the Technical Assistance Program for Central America and the Middle East. So it's a lot of variety. All those years, he was interested and became fascinated by what was now called biometeorology. He was a good scientist, but most and for all, he was a good organizer. And in 1956, he founded the International Society for Biometeorology. He gathered a lot of international people working on that field, and he became the first executive secretary. And as you all know, an executive secretary is the most important person in a society, because they can lead the society in the way they want. Not only that, he founded a private institute for biometeorology in Wassenaar. Wassenaar is a little town in the western part of Holland. And I happened to live there too. In fact, that institute was located about 2 blocks from my house, so I met him a few times. He had a very good relationship with the University of Leiden. I was working at that time at the medical faculty of the university, and I must admit that, well, it may be that let's say, medical doctors are not really in for new experiments, that the relationship with somebody like Tromp and the medical faculty was a little bit difficult. He stimulated the research, and he died he died in 1993, and it was his will that part of his legacy would be put into a foundation. The foundation which was named after him, the Tromp Foundation. And what's the aim of the Tromp Foundation? That is promote biometeorology in general. The question, how does weather and climate impact the well-being of all living creatures from plants to animals to humans, and it's a broad area. It took a couple of years, in fact 4 years after his death, before the foundation really could go on. And we're working mostly, I'm the chair of the board of the foundation, and we're working mostly on the International Society of Biometeorology. Last year in Cleveland, I was approached by Tanya if there was a way to promote biometeorology in Europe again, and use the EMS as a vehicle to do that. So she wrote an application for an award. And, I'm very thankful that the application was awarded by the council. And in fact, we have now a letter of agreement which will be signed after this meeting for the next 3 years. So it's, I hope you understand, it's an honor to present the first prize, and then the winner is Bert Heusingveld. Bert Heusingveld from the University of Wageningen. I must admit that I called him the day after the selection committee. By the way, the selection committee had an enormous job because we had a lot of applications and had to go all through and finally did the final selection. I called him and he was flabbergasted. It's like you get a phone call, you are the winner of a free iPod or a free iPad, if you call this. So he didn't want to believe it. I persuaded him. He didn't know anything because his colleagues had very sneakily give his name to the committee, nominated him, and it ended up that he was very happy. His colleagues are very happy. The University of Wageningen is very happy because I've read the magazine. There's an enormous publication in it about the research. I am happy, I told you, and I hope the EMS is happy too. So this is a typical example of a win-win situation. Okay, let me now, but could you please come forward? It's much easier that you come here than I come there because I have your... Well, the map contains a certificate. You can read it afterwards. And the second place is a facsimile of the amount of money that you get for the extra exercise. On behalf of the foundation, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now I hand over the microphone again to the president. Thank you very much.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much also, and congratulations also from me here.